The Little Boy Who Sat on the Crescent of the Moon. A Missouri Pawpaw French tale, originally told by Joe Ben Coleman.
Translated and narrated in English by Adam Polakaitis and his two assistants. It's good to tell you, once there was an old man and an old woman. They had a little boy. He was a great hand at telling lies. The old king said that anyone who could tell enough lies for him to admit they lied would be given all the gold and silver they could carry in a sack on their back. Every day, there were people who would come to tell lies to the king. All the king would say was,
"That's possible."
One day, the little boy said to his mother,
"Today, I must go tell stories to the king."
He got to the king's house and told the royal guard that he wanted to see the king. The guard allowed him to enter. The little boy went in and greeted the king. The boy said,
"Sire, I heard that you enjoy hearing stories that aren't true."
"Yes, my little boy. If you tell me enough for me to say that you lied, I'll give you a sack full of money and all the gold you can carry."
The boy said,
"Well, one time I went out hunting.
The king said,
"That's possible."
It was winter, and it was very cold. I found a peach tree loaded with peaches.
The king said,
"That's possible."
I climbed the tree right to the top, and I ate some peaches.
The king said,
"That's possible."
Then
the boy continued,
I looked, and the moon was just above me.
The king said,
"That's possible."
I sat on the crescent moon and filled my pockets with peaches.
The king said,
"That's possible."
But then I started getting too hot on the crescent moon. And
the boy said,
I looked for my peach tree, but it wasn't there. The moon had traveled farther away.
The king said,
"That's possible."
I didn't know how to get down.
The boy said, the old king said,
"That is possible."
I felt on my head,
the boy said,
and I only had one louse left.
the old king said,
"That's possible."
I killed that louse,
the boy said,
and I took off its skin.
the old king said,
"That's possible."
I started to descend
the boy said,
by the skin of the louse. I was still far from the ground.
the old king said,
"Yes, that's possible."
I let go
the boy said,
and fell down to the ground.
the old king said,
That's possible.
My head landed between two rocks.
the boy said. The old king said,
"Yes, that's possible."
I couldn't pull my head out,
the boy said,
so I cut my neck. I stuck my head on my shoulders, just as you see it now.
the old king said,
"That's possible."
I started to make my way home. I saw a hare, and I started to chase it from behind.
the old king said,
"That's possible."
I chased the hare for a good while.
he said. The old king said,
"That's possible."
The hare let out a fart.
the old king said,
"Yes, that's possible."
I caught the fart, broke it in two, and inside it,
the boy said,
there was a little note saying that you and my father used to keep pigs together.
the old king said,
"You've lied!"
That's exactly what I wanted you to say. Pay me now.